You've got to be kidding me. Was the person pulling all the strings really hiding right in front of us this whole time? Or were we just so distracted by the blood on the warehouse floor that we missed the real monster? How does a guy like Jacob Hawthorne go from being the hero of the Metropolitan Police to finding himself trapped in a nightmare he can't wake up from? Today we aren't just looking at a simple plot twist. We are tearing apart the very foundation of Fairmont Crest because everything we thought we knew about the Impaler was a lie. Let's just take a breath and talk about that reveal for a second. Heather. That's the name on everyone's lips. It turns out the mastermind behind the entire illegal plasma ring isn't some faceless shadow. It is Heather, the secret sister of Joey Armstrong. Think about that. Joey was the only person on the planet who knew she even existed. He kept her a secret from everyone, and honestly, can you blame him? If your sister was running a brutal black market blood empire from the dark, you'd probably keep your mouth shut too. But here's the kicker. Heather isn't just some new character. She's being played by Ashley Jones, and spoilers say she is way more dangerous and way smarter than anyone ever guessed. While Joey and Leah Whitmore were out in the world, doing the public-facing dirty work, Heather was the one truly in charge. She's the brain. She's the one who probably ordered all those crimes we've been watching in horror. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of the tragedies in Fairmont Crest were actually her doing? And speaking of tragedies, we have to talk about Derek Baldwin. I'm still not over this. My heart is just heavy for the entire community. We saw the residents gathered for the cotillion, right? It was supposed to be this beautiful night where Samantha Richardson Smith was crowned the Platinum Deb. But while the elites were dancing and wearing gowns, a literal war was happening at a warehouse. Jacob Hawthorne was there, deep undercover as Rashad, trying to finally nail the plasma ring leaders. He's been doing this for months, trying to live up to his father, Chief Elon Hawthorne. But things went south, fast. Shots were fired and Derek Baldwin did the unthinkable. He took a bullet that was meant for Jacob and Grayson Perez. Why do the good guys always have to be the ones to make the ultimate sacrifice? Derek had a hero complex. Even the actor Ben Gavin said so. He couldn't just stand by. He jumped in the way and it cost him everything. Seeing Ashley Morgan break down in the hospital when she realized he didn't make it, that was just brutal. She sensed something was wrong the moment she saw the surgeon, and the look on Shanice's face said it all. Derek is gone and Fairmont Crest will never be the same without him. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Jacob thought he was finally getting justice. He moved in to arrest Leah Whitmore, thinking she was the one at the top. He thought he'd connected all the dots. And for a second it felt like a win. But Leah isn't just a doctor or a strategist. She was ready for him. Out of nowhere, Rin appears and just launches this brutal attack on Jacob. It was a trap. Jacob walked right into it. Now he's alone, he's outnumbered, and he's completely exposed. Leah even warned him. She told him he should have stayed out of it. She knows he's seen too much to let him go. Do you think Jacob can actually find a way out of this? Or has his need to prove himself finally put him in a hole he can't climb out of? He's always felt inadequate since that wedding incident with his mother-in-law, Danny. He's desperate to be the perfect cop his father expects him to be, and that desperation might be what kills him. And then there is the hierarchy. Smitty and Jacob had this theory about how the organization worked. They thought there was an underboss who had to be a blood relative. Everyone was looking at Leah, wondering if she was some long-lost sister. But it turns out the blood relative wasn't Leah. It was Heather. Heather is the brutal one at the top. Rin is just a soldier loyal to a fault, doing whatever the queen tells him to do. Now let's throw another wrench in the gears. Doug McBride is back. He's been dead for 8 months, but he just showed up at the country club to see his daughter, Deanna. Why no? And why only to her? He tells her he has a mission for her. Is Doug actually involved with the plasma ring? Some fans think he might even be the Impaler himself, but with the Heather reveal that seems less likely. Still, if he's been hiding for 8 months, he's definitely up to something shady. He has a new, mysterious look, and he's clearly not the same man who died in that car accident back in 2025. Think about the psychological toll this is taking on everyone. Joey is caught between his secret sister and the community he lives in. Jacob is drowning in guilt because Derek died for him. And then you have Leslie, who is absolutely spiraling because she's terrified the plasma ring scandal is going to ruin her nonprofit. She's even trying to force Haley to be her ally. It's a mess. A beautiful, dramatic soap opera mess. You have to wonder, was the man we all mourned for the last 8 months really just a ghost? Or has he been the most dangerous player on the board this entire time? Think about the sheer audacity it takes to let your children believe you're dead while you sit back and watch your family fall apart. How does a man like Doug McBride go from being a drunken gambler to a mysterious mission giver appearing in the shadows of the Fairmont Crest Country Club? Today we aren't just looking at a simple soap opera return. We are tearing apart a psychological masterclass in manipulation that is about to blow Deanna McBride's world into pieces. Let's really set the stage here, because the timing of this is absolutely chilling. While the rest of Fairmont Crest was distracted by the glitz of the cotillion and that horrific bloodbath at the warehouse that took Derek Baldwin's life, a literal dead man was walking the grounds. Doug McBride didn't just pop back into town to say a friendly hello. He chose the exact moment the community was at its weakest to reveal himself. He didn't go to his ex-wife Vanessa or his son Donnell. He went to Deanna. This wasn't some random encounter. It was a tactical strike. Why would a man who died in a car accident way back in September 2025 suddenly decide that May 26, 2026, was the day to resurface? Looking at the timing, it's pretty clear that Doug's return is tied to the total collapse of the plasma ring. As Jacob Hawthorne was closing in on Leah Whitmore and the shocking reveal of Heather as the Impaler was unfolding, Doug was waiting in the wings. It makes you ask the question: was he waiting for the competition to be cleared out before making his move? Was he hiding because he was scared, or was he hiding because he was building something even more sinister? Well, think about it. If you were hiding from the law or a guy like Joey Armstrong, wouldn't you wait until they were distracted by a warehouse shootout to show your face? Now let's get into the heart of this mission he's given Deanna. The spoilers tell us it's a task that could change everything. But what does that actually mean in a town like this, where every truth is wrapped in a lie? Doug went to Deanna because he knows she likely has the most pure, untainted love for him. He's using her. He's using the one person who would be too shocked to ask the hard questions. That choice alone tells us everything we need to know about his current mental state. He is an emotional predator. He knows Deanna is vulnerable, and he is going to exploit that shock to make sure she does exactly what he wants. Can you even imagine the trauma of that moment? One minute you're mourning a family friend, and the next your dead father is telling you to come closer and see if he's real. From a psychological perspective, Doug is operating from a place of massive ego. He isn't coming back to say he's sorry for the months of pain he caused. He's coming back to reclaim a throne. If he were a hero, he would have come forward to save his family from Joey Armstrong's influence months ago. Yet he stayed dead. He watched from the sidelines while Joey crawled into bed with Vanessa. That kind of restraint suggests a man who is far more calculating than the drunken gambler we once knew. I think he has traded his addiction to cards for an addiction to power. Do you agree, or do you think he really was just trapped in some kind of amnesia plot? My opinion is that Doug McBride is now the biggest threat Fairmont Crest has ever faced. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows Joey's secrets. He probably knows Heather's secrets too. I totally disagree with the fans who think he's back for some kind of redemption. You don't stay dead for nearly a year and then come back with a mission for your daughter if you're a good guy. You do that when you have a score to settle and you need a pawn that no one will suspect. Deanna is that pawn. She is the perfect insider, because no one would ever imagine she's taking orders from a man the world thinks is in a grave. Think about the history here. Joey was the one who allegedly ordered the hit on Doug. He told Randy to handle him. If Doug knows this, his mission for Deanna is almost certainly about taking Joey down from the inside. But consider the other side of it. What if the mission is about Vanessa? Vanessa has moved on. She's been using Doug's memory to build hospital partnerships while sleeping with the man who tried to kill him. Doug might feel a twisted sense of betrayal. He might want to burn her world down just as much as Joey's. There's a really dark irony here. While Jacob Hawthorne is fighting for his life against Ren and Leah, thinking he's finally found the head of the snake in Heather, the Real King might be standing in the shadows of the country club. Could Doug actually be the one who was funding the plasma ring all along? Or is his mission for Deanna to steal whatever is left of the operation now that Heather has been exposed? If trust is the currency of Fairmont Crest, as Jacob and Smitty always say, then Doug is currently the richest man in town because he holds the ultimate secret. The escalation of this conflict is going to be massive. We already know that Joey is starting to feel the heat from Donnell. Donnell is asking pointed questions about his father's death. Imagine the explosion when Donnell finds out his sister has been meeting with their father in secret. This mission is going to drive a wedge right through the middle of the McBride family. It puts Deanna in an impossible position. Does she stay loyal to the ghost of her father, or does she stay loyal to the brother and mother who are just trying to survive? It's a lose-lose situation for her. The psychological layer for Deanna is just tragic. She is likely suffering from a form of Stockholm Syndrome the second she sees him. She wants to believe he's a hero who had to hide to protect them. And Doug is going to play into that. He's going to tell her a story about why he had to stay dead, and she will eat it up because the alternative, that her father is a selfish criminal, is just too painful. He is gaslighting her before the mission even starts. Have you ever seen someone so easily manipulated by their own grief? I predict that this mission involves Deanna infiltrating Joey Armstrong's private business. Doug needs someone Joey won't see as a threat. And who better than the daughter of the man Joey thinks is gone? Joey is already off his game. He's distracted by Bill Hamilton's weird behavior and the plasma ring mess. This is the perfect window for Doug to use Deanna to plant evidence or steal documents. But Deanna isn't a spy. She's a debutante. The tension of keeping her father's survival a secret while doing something illegal is going to break her. And what happens when Vanessa finds out? Vanessa is already suspicious of Joey. If she realizes Doug is alive and has been using their daughter, it's going to be nuclear. Let's look at that underboss theory again. Everyone thought it was Leah. We now know it was Heather. But what if Heather was just a front? What if Doug McBride is the one who truly knows the value of plasma? Some sources mention that Doug was a doctor who knew everything about it. If he used his death to escape his gambling debts and pivot into the world of black market blood, he would be the ultimate impaler. This mission for Deanna could be about securing his legacy before he makes a public return. The emotional weight of Derek Baldwin's death also plays a huge role here. The whole town is in mourning. There is a memorial happening for a fallen hero. The contrast between Derek, who died to save others, and Doug, who died to save himself, is just staggering. It makes me sick to think that while Jacob is raw with grief over losing his partner, Doug is standing in a country club planning a heist. It shows a complete lack of empathy. That is the hallmark of a sociopath. Do you think Doug even cares about Derek's sacrifice? Or is he just annoyed that the warehouse shootout made things more complicated for his plan? This whole conflict between Doug and Joey is the core of the season. Joey thought he won. He thought he took the girl, the money, and the town. But a man with nothing to lose is the most dangerous person you can face. Doug has had 8 months to sit and rot in his resentment. He has watched his family be protected by the man who tried to kill him. This mission for Deanna is just the first shot in a war that will leave the McBride family in ruins. I agree with the fans who are worried about Doug being a villain. There is no other way to frame it. You don't hide from your kids for 8 months unless you're running from something or building something bad. Think about the psychological insecurity of Joey Armstrong. He is already cracking. If he finds out Doug is alive, he will lose his mind. He's been playing the civilized partner to Vanessa, but we know the brutal side of him that Randy serves. If Doug forces Joey's hand, we are going to see a level of violence that makes the warehouse shootout look like a playground scrap. The funny thing is, Joey thinks Donnell is his biggest problem. He has no idea that the real threat is already inside his house through Deanna. Now consider the mission from a different angle. What if it's about the plasma? If Doug really is a doctor, he might know a secret about the hospital's supply that even Leah didn't. He could be sending Deanna to retrieve something from the Phoenix Street Free Clinic before it gets shut down. This would tie the entire season together. It would link the McBride family directly to the Impaler operation in a way that would destroy their reputation forever. Would Deanna really risk her name and her future for a father she hasn't seen in nearly a year? I predict that by the end of this week, Deanna will be forced to choose between her father's mission and her brother's safety. Donnell is getting way too close to the truth about Joey. If Doug's mission puts Donnell in Joey's crosshairs, Deanna will have to decide if a ghost is worth more than a living brother. It's a classic trap, and the writers are laying it out perfectly. It's the kind of drama that makes you want to scream at the TV, isn't it? What is your take on this? Do you think Doug is actually a hero who has been working undercover to take down Joey? Or is he the real mastermind who has been letting Heather and Leah take the fall? And do you think Deanna will actually go through with whatever he's asked her to do? Or will she crack and tell Vanessa everything? I mean, how long can a girl keep a secret like that? The psychological profile of this new version of Doug is fascinating. The mysterious look we saw in the previews isn't just about a new suit. It represents a total shift in who he is. The Doug who died was a total mess. He couldn't stay away from the gambling tables. The man who returned is cold. He is composed. He is a man who can stand in a public place and not be noticed by anyone except the person he wants to see. That level of discipline suggests he's been somewhere that stripped away all his weaknesses. If the organization is family-based, where does Doug fit? If he provided the medical expertise for the plasma theft, he sits above even the Impaler. Trust is currency, and Doug has the ultimate leverage because he doesn't exist on paper. You can't arrest a ghost. This makes him the ultimate shadow leader. The emotional insight for Vanessa is going to be the most painful part of this entire story. She has been mourning him. If she finds out he let her suffer while he watched from the dark, she will never forgive him. It's a betrayal of the highest order. I think the writers are taking a huge risk here. If they make Doug a pure villain, they lose that lovable loser quality he had. But if they make him a hero, it's hard to justify why he stayed away while his family was in danger. The only middle ground is that he's a man driven by a single obsessive goal: destroying Joey Armstrong at any cost. I agree with the move to involve Deanna because it raises the stakes, but it makes Doug a very difficult character to root for. Joey is already noticing Bill's weakness because he's feeling his own. He knows he ordered a hit on Doug. He knows the plasma ring is failing. If he even gets a whisper that Doug is alive, his entire world will implode. He's built his new life on the foundation of Doug's grave, and that foundation is turning into quicksand. The mission itself is a bold promise from the writers. It suggests a shift in the status quo. Maybe the mission isn't about the past. Maybe it's about the future. Maybe Doug knows something about the Dupree family that hasn't been revealed yet. The escalation is coming when Deanna has to interact with Donnell. Donnell wants the truth. If Deanna is hiding the fact that their father is alive, she is lying to the one person who needs the truth the most. The tension between the siblings is going to be heartbreaking. Donnell is looking for justice for a man who is currently giving his sister secret orders. It's a brilliant, twisted setup. Don't you just hate how much Doug is messing with them? I predict that Doug's mission will lead Deanna to a safe deposit box or a hidden location. Inside, she'll find evidence that links the plasma ring to someone even higher up, maybe a government official. So, I have to ask you guys, do you think Heather is the end of the line? Or is there someone even bigger than her waiting at the gates? And what about Doug? Can we really trust a man who let his own children think he was dead for nearly a year? I want to know what you think in the comments. Is Heather going to destroy everyone who stands in her way? Or will Jacob finally get the win he needs to honor Derek's memory? Make sure you hit that like button if you're as shocked as I am by these spoilers. And if you want to keep up with every twist and turn in Fairmont Crest, you've got to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be diving even deeper into Doug's secret mission and the fallout of the